Guys, I'm a bit earlier than usual. I just tried to give it like 60 minutes more or less. I'm having later on a student on a private lesson, but until then, I'm gonna be covering the the chess event, SuperUnited Rapid and Blitz happening in Croatia. So Zagreb, I think, and we're gonna look at this super fine super grandmaster players here. Or we're gonna peruse through the games. Ivan Saric today plays Prague. Magnus Anish, we're looking at this right now. Jan Krzysztof plays Alireza, Fabi Nordebek, and Wesley Gukesh, the current World Chess champion. So we're gonna look at those. Let me actually look at Guke here and Wesley. I'm using OBS and a couple of destinations. Not that much of a Streamlabs from the last week because they just simply do not work at this stage. So I can't be bothered to labs. They need to fix their stuff. Right, so what's going on here? So as you know, no engine, no software, just try to figure out ourselves what's the best course of action. Wesley is white here. So he positions the queen where the king is. So threatening a discover check, still a check coming from the knight is playable here, right? We got to be careful though. I mean, Wesley has to be careful. If we are not to identify with either of them players, White needs to pay attention to the bishop and the queen attacking g2. That's a thing of importance here. Rook had been played simply, I understand that, because you want to get rook to g3, which I think is going to happen right now, perhaps. I think going to happening right now, rook e3 to g3, positioning the rook on the same file with the queen on the lead. Check, as we said previously. I think Gukesh might be a little bit in trouble. Let's see. How's it going to play? For instance, if you now play this bishop, it might be that the queen is gone. But let's see how he plays. Captures the rook first, so eliminating the rook that was attacking the queen, and white is winning. Yeah, it is possible, looking at the time management and how he plays, it's possible that the blitz and bullet is not the strongest point of Gukesh Domoraju. And that's that. Let me look at Magnus and Anish Giri here. Okay. I hope sound is okay. Again, I cannot answer my dearest friends on TikTok their messages because I cannot see on the screen their messages. So guys, if you go via Twitch, Facebook or YouTube, I'm definitely able to reading and to replying your live messages. So, Magnusito here, he's on 8 seconds, and Anish Giri, what is this guy? I think he had like 10 coffees, right? Looks like Anish Giri has like an eternity, 40-something seconds available. White King is in check. Magnus moves out of check. And I think White is doing quite interestingly here. But it's not to be dismissed the pawn majority on the queen side. Black's pawn majority. This is important. This is important. Okie dokie. Anish Giri's turn. King to h3 had to move out of check from the queen. Bishop now goes away. Now there is f7, something that we could potentially exploit, but they moved so fast like bullet type. I didn't even have time to process what's going on. What happens next? Okay, queen attacks the black rook. Okay, the rook goes to safety, defending f7 a little bit more. So Magnus now grabbed the b5 pawn. Black queen takes on e4. This is the only check that's possible. Should we prevent this? I don't know. Yes, did play rook e1 indeed. Queen goes away. There's another check coming, maybe via c8. You never know. Might be a thing. Now Magnus plays rook e7. There is double pressure on the f7. Is he intending to play triple attack? But as a check first, by the way. He does block with the queen and attacks 3 times f7, mind you guys. Queen takes, rook takes. Very difficult to say. And even if white is kind of winning this is going to be incredibly difficult victory. It's crazy difficult. If you wonder why did Anish Giri play f7 to f6, is that because he wants to annihilate the white rook battery on f7? No, f6 stops the white rook. Grabs another pawn, though. Rook to f3. That guy was not defended. King goes to 7, rook. Okay, behind the pawn. That has to be defended again by Anish. Rook f1. Magnus is thriving in this kind of super speedy, fast chess. Another, the b3 pawn had been eliminated. You know what that means? That this guy is a passed pawn. It can't be opposed by another pawn. This is important to keep in mind. He pushes down the pawn. Double attack on this guy here on g7. Anish defends. Okay, now you can go after the c pawn. Defense. Double battery there. You can push. This is getting quite critical now. g3 is up for the grab. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You had to because it was too much to handle here. Takes and takes. And fellas, I think this one looks like a draw now. Well, yeah, probably it's too early to say. I'm trying to moving and reading through the moves. This guy's so this is the last game that happening live. Check. Tries to so the rook c3 tries to prevent any incoming checks on the third rank. I'm pretty sure about this. And 20 seconds for Magnus and 7 for Anish. Just a couple, and they move so fast. I mean, practically it's just bullet now. Let's be honest, guys. This is actually a bullet chess happening right now. I can read on a screen 20 seconds and 13 sec. I mean, they just play. Hey, let me just cover those stuff. I don't wanna see any moves. What a rook a6 seems to me an interesting option, which probably had been played. Yeah, I can see the rook on a6. Probably a draw. I wonder if they're going to be forcing it a bit more. Probably a draw. You could still do check if you want. Magnus dismantles the two black pawns, so now they're isolated. So I guess you go after these guys. It could be a check, but then king goes in between the two pawns. You can't defend them all. It's going to be a draw. You can't defend them both. I mean, if you check the king, they're going to grab the other pawn. If you, yeah, that's it. You are within the promotion square. You're going to play king to g4, and the black pawn on h4 is going to be stopped. That's that. That is just that, ladies and gents. That was a draw. The rest of the games have been won. Prague lost to Ivan Saric. I think Ivan Saric plays, of course, it's a Croatia national. Alireza playing for France defeated Jan Duda. Nordibek defeated Fabi. And Wesley beaten Bukesh Domoraja, the current World Chess champion. Okay, here we are for the games. I think the Blitz number 11 is going to happen. Let me that. Allow me a sec. In 11 minutes about-ish. 11 minutes. We're going to see Alireza Magnus. Now that's going to be something because Alireza is also, he's a bit younger. He's playing very fast. He is a contender for the World Chess Championship title. So I think he's still going to pursuing that title for a while, and rightfully so. Duda Fabi, Prague Wesley, Anish Ivan, Saric, and Guki going to play Nodi. Guki Nodi. Guki white, Nodi black. Cool. So that's about starting in 10 minutes or so. That means in the meantime, we could do maybe a quick puzzle ourselves, my dearest friends. Again, I can read only messages coming via Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. If it's any other platform, it's not going to be displayed. Not at my end. It might be on the respective platform. So if you're watching this via TikTok, it might be visible for the TikTokers right now on the platform, but not for me at the second. So I apologize for this until I'm figuring out. It's going to be like this for the time being. So this is a check. The black rook check, white king, right? So we got to react to this one. And the question is if we're moving away, but if we take the rook, though that's important. Let me think. If we're moving here, saying, let's just say we're moving here. It can't be any other check because there's a bishop. And if they take, we're very happy to taking the queen, right? So looks to me the most attractive for the first seconds of this puzzle, looking at it, is king to g2. King to g2. We get no other checks. Queen is on prees, but what if the queen then goes on a light square? Maybe then we can play some bishop or something? What should we take first? Rook takes, king plays away. So this is a subtlety here. I'm not sure. I guess I should be playing king g2. Also maintaining the white rook to protecting this guy, whatever that means. I mean, not whatever that means. That means that that is important to perhaps keeping the white rook on the d file, protecting the white pawn on d6. So I'm guessing maybe king to g2. Looking at this puzzle, just before Magnus and Gukesh and Fabi and the rest of the super fine grandmasters gonna be resuming the Blitz round number 11. So king to g2 looks like. That's a game in between an international master, Nikolai Shuk, 2500 rated player. With whites, I wonder. No, with black it was. The other guy is a 2600 player. But what's important for us is to understand what exactly white is meant to be playing. I mean, I've completely disregarded, for instance, rook f5 to f1, which should be blocking and attacking the black rook twice. I've completely disregarded this. I didn't even look. I didn't even spend a second looking at that thing. I don't know if I should do it. Looks like probably I sort of should. Consider this one as well. Rook f5 to f1, attacking this guy. So assuming they take, what do we take back with? Well, we could take back with the queen, but we're losing the bishop. Well, we take with a queen, because if they take the bishop, the queen is gone, right? It's a very, very sophisticated middle game tactics. I'm curious to hearing your thoughts, so to speak, or to reading your thoughts via the channel, guys. Curious. Have a solution for this one? Let me know. Uh, King G2. Maybe. Maybe. Rook F5 to F1. Don't know what to say. I'm inclined to consider King G2, but Queen B7 assuming. So let's say Queen G2, Queen B7. We need to take care of that diagonal for sure. So this is important. So King G2, Queen B7 saying. Then we play like what? Bishop F3? Maybe, but then rook goes, say, rook E4 to E2 check. You can't take the rook because the queen checks the king. Bang, bang. This. Oh, just maybe we should be trading off first on E1? They don't get easy, do they? They don't get easy at all. Not at all. Imagine having this one in a real game. Imagine having this situation in a real game. Over the board or online. What is the winning response here for white? So we can block with rook or with the queen. With blocking with the queen is a bit crazy, isn't it? So you either block with the rook or you run away a little bit on g2. That's the only escaping square. I think it might be a rook f1, but maybe we should take first. Yeah, but then the pawn. Ay, ay, ay. It's quite something in it. Take first. One, one. 7 anyway. That feels very weird. Feels weird. Still not certain. King G2 after all. King G2, and after Queen B7, the heck we playing? Well, that's a question. King G, Queen F1, that's just too much. If we take first, and we attack the other rook as well, rook takes C1. Rook takes C1, check. Blocking with something, like rook. So rook takes, then we block with the rook. Yeah, but then we open up the diagonal completely for the black queen to exploit. So I'm not sure what to say. So maybe we shouldn't take, actually. Maybe we should king. Huh. King G2. I'm gonna play King G2 because the other options, I think they are worse. Oops, no. Okay, that didn't work. Is it what? Blocking with the rook? Was blocking with the rook. They took now. We take back, I guess, with what? With the queen. They can't take because we take, right? Yeah, well, I kind of thought about the idea, but I didn't get myself to actually play it. F1. Queen being hit. And if they go here, probably we're just going to play bishop f3. We play bishop f3 and that is that. Yeah, I guess so. Tough one though. You guys see the entirety of the screen? Yes, you do see them. Okay, cool. So, gonna be back to SuperUnited Croatia. Magnus and guys, they starting in about 2 minutes. Ali Reza gonna be playing Magnus here. Guki gonna play Nodi. Prague Wesley. Gonna try to peruse through the games. Yeah, so probably Gukesh is not excelling for the time being in super fast time control chess formats like Bullet or Blitz. And he doesn't have to. I mean, he's already a watch champion in classical standard and rapid. He won it. So great at these two formats. And he's very young, so probably he got time to train himself to moving a bit faster and thinking faster, accurately. And it's good. He has all the good reasons to being optimistic. What is Ali Reza going to pull against Magnus? Like Grob opening, like King's Gambit, like a what? We'll see in a minute. See in a minute. Time is 1:30. More precise, 27 to 2. 27 minutes to 2. And been a little bit of a rainy day today, 20 degrees Celsius, so this is perfect. It's not that scorching hot, 35, 37 degrees Celsius when I was melting away and very uncomfortable to do pretty much anything that high temperature. And now it's perfect for chess, I'd say. Come on, fellas. Let's go, boys. Do those moves. Okay. So Bobby is playing white. Prague will be facing Wesley, which just beaten Gukesh previously round. Perusing through them. What's here? Guki Nodi. Guki white, Nodi black. Okay, they're gonna be also interesting, like all of them. Let's number 11. I don't know, should we do another quick puzzle or waiting for these guys to actually start playing? Okay. What other... Is there any other Blitz happening later on today? Let me see. So Blitz 11. which is supposed to start any second now. Also today, oh lord, today they will be playing all the blitzes, brother. Blitz 12, round 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So they be playing blitzes for hours and hours on end now. They have just started. So they'll be playing for the next 4 or 5 hours, tons and tons and tons and tons of blitzes. Now, because I've got a student later on, I won't be able to just cover the entirety of the event, and I'm not sure I will have done it anyway. But I'm just doing it right now. It's for a while here. Yes. Ah, the pairings. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Sat. The pairings. So Ali Reza now opens up with e4. So let's see what Magnus plays. E4 Ali Reza. Well, let's see. What is he going to play? Come on, Magnus. Move that piece, man. Okay, e5. Nice. Okay, we're going to see an Italian or a Spanish. Italian, that is. Italian, that is. D3, very solid. Nothing funky. Castles and bishop e7. Just okay. Nice e3. Bishop g5 springs to mind. Stuff like this. Just get your guys in action. There you go. Knight c3 by young Ali Reza. a4, claiming more space on the queen side. a5, blocking any attempt to go further down the a file. And I don't know, bishop g5 could be an idea. Rook fe1, never wrong. Never wrong to get a rook on a open or semi-open file. It can never be wrong. Well, now it's not a semi-open file. It's completely blocked, but you never know what's going to happen. Now, do you take? Because it looks to me if you take, obviously black's going to take back. You will never be able to play any knight on d5. So he plays the knight instead, inviting black to take if they want to. But there is a problem here, because if you take with a knight, you're going to take with a pawn, forking two minor pieces at once. So obviously, Magnus is not going to fall for this blunder. He's not going to play this, of course. If he takes, he's going to take with the bishop, that is. If he takes. But it doesn't mean he's going to take, right? Let's see what can he play. So if he takes with the bishop. Takes with the bishop. No, he didn't. He played h6, probably trying to stop any bishop g5 or knight g5 for that matter. So h6 is a very prophylactic measure, stopping white from exploiting the g5 black square. So that's that. Prophylactic measure. Now you could do the same with white. If you want to be funky, you could just do h3. Which is not that funky. I mean, it makes a lot of sense playing h3. Okay, someone open up that door. Yeah, someone open up that door. That means that is me. That is just me opening up the door. Wait a sec. Right, that was just me. Okay, fine. Okay. So let's see what. Okay. Rook f to e8. Queen to b3. Always good to having battery, queen and the bishop together. Also, the queen on b3 looks at b7, so that's not to be neglected. I don't think Magnus is going to ignore that one. This is serious. And now rook to b8, protecting this one. Protecting the b7 black pawn. Is he going to develop the bishop on c1 on? Or you're going to play h3 is one of those moves that if you, there you go, h3, stopping any knight, stopping any bishop, any activity in relation with, or creating a little bit of space for the king to moving. If ever in the future you're going to have some background things, it's always good to having a pawn, maybe on h3. But this one had been played prophylactically, as we said, about stopping knight or bishop to go on g4. He's going to develop the bishop, but he doesn't rush into this just yet. Doesn't rush into this. Black's turn to play. The position is very static. How can I say? Bishop e3, of course. Of course. Bishop f8 played by Magnus, opening up the e for the rook if there is anything to happen. Bishop e3, finalizing the development of all the minor pieces. I always say to my friends and my young students, develop your pieces, develop, develop, develop. You cannot be wrong if you develop your pieces. Now, what do you take back with? With a bishop. And if the knight takes back, you don't take back with a pawn, take back with a queen. And that's that. So I assume now white has to take back, but you don't take back with a pawn. Because if you take back with a pawn, you're actually making this queen like a complete fail. Oh my, look at the freaking pawn. Why? Why did it look? Why? This is awful. With the pawn here blocking the queen and the bishop. That's awful. Very unnatural stuff. What about this kind of ideas? I mean, you attack the rook, that's exactly what Alireza did. That's exactly what I would have played, I swear. I swear, that's exactly what I would have played. And I did freaking say it. This is weird to have taken with the pawn. Now, what's this actual bishop doing there? Okay, Magnus goes for the trades now. Do you trade? Well, the bishop is hanging, sort of, so you probably need to take and then move that bishop somewhere. You're gonna have to move the bishop. I think this is pretty much forced. Bishop to e3, there you go, knight takes now. Do you take or drop a little bit? I like the dropping idea with the bishop on d2. It's quite good. Yes, and he did do that. I gotta stop the mic if there's anything. Okay. It's for a bit. That one is gonna down it together with the d6, getting more power, but this guy's hanging, right? Oh no, he's not gonna push as long as that guy is d4 played by Ali. Anything may happen. White is enjoying the bishop pair. This is important. Knight now. It's the move. This is a square here, but if... Can you play g6 if you're back here? No, you cannot. I'll tell you why. If they play g6, knight takes g6, and you actually lose the game because the bishop pins the pawn, it's very important. g6 is completely unplayable. He can't play g6. So knight c4 to blocking, bishop c3, eyeing the dark square diagonal up to g7, and ideally maybe you want to take on them. Something like this. But let's see. Let's see. When you push and they take potential. Okay. Got a couple of things taken. Maybe. Maybe you... No, maybe you just... No, you can't do that. Can you do rook e2 and then maybe push this guy? f3? Not sure. g3 though. Okay. What? Making space for the king or for the knight? You can't get there. There's an... maybe king to b. He waits to see what size to go for. Okay, black's done to the stuff. Probably you wanna... Yeah. Yeah, yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. This guy is actually important, which is defended only by the knight. So I don't think rook a b8 is playable. A b8 and then white takes on c4. You're going to take back and then bishop takes and creating a pass pawn. So I'm not sure if that's very, very, very safe. Black to black. I'm not sure. Okay, what's going on here? Knight to d. So he decided. Now he attacks the c3. He attacks this potentially very dangerous bishop. White stands black. To grab on e4 right now, or am I missing something? You take on e4, they're going to take on c3, certainly. Very likely. Very likely. The question is if Alireza should take on e4. That is the question. Okay, let's see. Takes c4, knight takes c3, b takes c3. Perhaps very say. Is there anything better? Can you afford not to? Or do you want to play in a different sequence? 3, rook take, sorry, bishop takes c4, rook takes c4, then you take. Giving away the bishop pair is never very comfortable, but how long can you hold on to that? No, he plays rook ac. It's an activation. Rook on the a file didn't do pretty much nothing. Defending a pawn that was not attacked by anybody, but now the rook attacks. On the b file, attacks the bishop. Attacks the bishop. Didn't do nothing. He retreated elegantly, bishop to e2. This guy is very resourceful. I very much admire. His decisions are very beautiful. Bishop a2. Mind you guys, b2 is currently defended by the bishop. So the rook really take and okay, they took first on c3. He took back with the rook, double attack on c4. It's cool. It's cool indeed. I guess if you play this kind of stuff, bishop's gonna take. Oh no, rook's gonna take, and e4 is going to be captured later on. d5 exactly as I said. And now I suppose bishop takes c4. If you take with a pawn, rook's gonna take e4 straight away. If you take with the rook, rook's gonna take, probably pawn's gonna take rook. But that's not what white chose to play. Rook e2 defends b2 a bit. Interesting. Because if, say, rook takes here, rook takes, and if rook takes, you take the other rook for free. So practically you're winning the game. So bishop g7 now. Killing everything on the dark square. He decided to take on c4. It's just too much. Takes. Then takes. And this knight on h4 doesn't look very well. It does. It looks horrible. But now Alireza decided to actually defend the d4, which he sees it very important. You gonna push? I don't know if you're gonna push, because if you're gonna push, there is actually enabling black to attacking on b2 twice. So what happened? Knight to g2, because the knight was a pain in the back being on h4, didn't do nothing. So they want to reposition the white. Rook opposing, you refuse the trade, because if you're trading, you're gonna enable black to having two connected pawns. Bishop takes. You could take c4 if you want. King goes away to f. Pushing, you could play the knight e3, knight f4. Rook takes first on c4. Double attack here. This is serious. Knight to f4. You can't really stop the f2 idea. Bishop takes now and threatens to actually take on g3 as well. Goes up. Bishop attacks now. Knight. Knight goes, attacks the bishop. Bishop goes to d6. Takes. They're moving so fast. They're moving so fast. I tried to stop in between the moves and do a little bit of what the heck did just happen? Okay, Alireza just dropped everything here. He dropped it. He lost. After king takes, the bishop itself should be enough to capturing this guy, and as the king, they're going to be centralizing itself. The white pawns are opposed, and actually black is enjoying a free bishop. And the king, who's going to moving, probably attacking this guy after king takes. What a fabulous way to play. Magnus is killing it in the Blitz section. Should he have played knight takes f5, I wonder? I wonder. Rather than knight e2. So how do you play now? Should he have taken on f4? Should he have played on? Doesn't look very good for white here. At this stage, it looks awful. Yeah, that's it. Game over here. Gee, man. Buki and Nordi, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Gookie and Nodi. Gookie white, Nodi black. This is so sharp. The last seconds of the game. My days. So sharp. Is it going to be a threefold repetition or perpetual check here? It's like a billion checks coming from everywhere. Now Nodi. Okay, so now white queen is going to check pretty much all day. There's going to be another check on the 7th rank. Queen to d7, very likely. Yes, it was. They play a little bit bullet. Black's turn to check. There is a pass pawn though. Black should be winning. Sorry guys, but it looks like, judging by the fact that there is a free pass pawn on the f file, black should be winning, right? Including now, it's worth considering queen g5. Queen takes, pawn takes, queen takes. It's worth considering. But do you have the time to actually properly estimate this? Check. Now black's winning. Now black is winning. If you wonder why black is winning, well, after this check, which is actually a fork, black had forced white to trade off the queens. So this last move that you see on the screen, guys, so the queen c6, checks the king, attacks the queen. You can't just move the queen because you lose the queen. You can't move the king because you lose the queen, I meant. So black has to take. White has to take, and after they take, you're gonna take back. Why is black winning? Well, there is like 3 pawns versus 1 pawn. Whilst the white king would be, whilst the white king is busy to try to take the f6, actually the black king is gonna go forward, remove this guy, and then they're gonna go with either of the 2 black pawns on the a and c respectively, and black is winning. So he lost again. Definitely Blitz is not his stronger points for the time being. For the time being. So that is that. So they'll be playing for a couple of hours, my dear. For a couple of hours here. I can see on the schedule, boy, oh boy, in the next 3 hours, let's say in the next 4 hours, they will be playing continuously. Blitz all day. It doesn't seem to be Gookie's best section, and yeah, he's gonna be a little bit diminished in its accuracy, because I mean there is players that could be incredibly good in classical and rapid because they got more time on their hands to think. But in Blitz or Bullet, it's just everything collapses. Everything collapses. So gonna be a little bit tough here for some of them players. Wesley drew with Prague. Fabulous. So Wesley keeping up there. Great stuff. So the next round will be happening in 1 minute. So I'm gonna try to do a quick puzzle. Okay, so what is that? Find the best move for white here. Okay, what's going on? Many things here, but what's the best way to attack and to win? Let's say I consider this crazy. We have to look for crazy moves. I'll tell you why. We have to look for crazy moves, including this. You know why? I've just seen something crazy. If queen goes to g7, which is insane, right? I mean, what? Queen to g7. King can't take and can't move. Therefore, rook has to take. Okay. But when rook takes, they're actually blocking the king. And the question is, queen g7, rook takes g7, which is a must. Which is a must. Mind you, the knight on g6 covers the h8 and f8 respectively. They only got in the f7 square for the black king. So queen g7, rook takes g7. It's a must. And then you go with the crazy knight h6, which actually takes away the f7 and the king itself being attacked and checkmate. Ain't that fabulous? Ain't that fabulous? So let me think again. Queen g7 is a check. It's an absolute check. Totally. Rook has to take. And then knight h6. Where does the king go? Well, nowhere. So this is then checkmate. It's great. I hope you guys like this quick puzzle. Beautiful. Let me take a quick picture of this puzzle because it just looks so good. I think I want to use it with some of my students. Okay. That is White's play here. Beautiful puzzle now. I love it. So let me play the crazy move. B7. Wow. Capture, I mean, controlled, controlled, controlled. Now you only need to cover the F. Boom. Checkmate. Amazing. So you have to look for this kind of ideas. And this puzzle are always, always interesting. And I think I really liked it. I really liked it. You do. So again, guys, I can read your messages if you guys visiting on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Unfortunately, the rest of the platforms are not being displayed on the public chat here until I figure out what to do with Streamlabs. Okie dokie, let's go with the next puzzle. You're free, guys, to tell me your best ideas. Maybe I'm missing something. I think I'm liking this puzzle. I'll tell you what I think it is. Black's turn to play. We need to make sure that the white... We need to make sure the white rook is no longer on the C file. And we need to make sure we're deflecting the rook by pushing this pawn up, a3 to a2. What does that mean? We are one step away from promoting. So white can't just ignore it. In the eventuality that they actually do capture on it, that means we are free to pushing the pawn. Even then, it's not over. You know why? Because even if this were to happen, so you push a2, rook takes, you're pushing this guy, rook takes back, and then you take with the rook. Fair enough. But I don't know if you guys noticed, white is enjoying 3 connected passed pawns. Not 2, but 3. So you tell me how the heck you're supposed to be attacking, checking the king so that you chip away at that pawn chain there, which is scary as hell. So there you could go some check, but the guy comes here. Then you gotta check again, and then they go on a side. Then you go over to the D file, preventing this, but then the king goes back. So really, this is just nuts. I really wonder, is there any other way? See how the... How are we supposed to play this? But the guy takes, right? They go here. Hey, this is nuts. So I'll do it again. A2. I mean, what else? Rook takes A2. Fine. You push the pawn. Fine. Rook takes back. Of course. Rook takes. Of course. And, hell, I don't know. They just move this guy here. You do check, then they go here. You do check, they go, let's say, C, F, 4 and stuff. You battling, actually, a king with 3 connected pass pawns. How the heck is black supposed to be winning? How? How is black supposed to win? I mean, actually, do you win it? Do you even win it? Question is. Question would be, yes, for that, I drink something with coffee in it. Dudes, I don't know. I mean, what else can you possibly play here with blacks? Does this stuff? What? So, look, I think if I had blacks in this position in a real game myself, I would seriously consider giving away 2 black pawns and then just check the white king, just go on with a perpetual or something, because this is very, very difficult. Again, white is enjoying 3 connected pass pawns. I mean, what? You have to a2, rook a2, c2, white rook takes c2, black rook takes c2. They push the f4 to f5. and then you're going to start a arduous, strenuous endgame in which you're going to be checking as much as you can, trying to keep the king away from those connected pass pawns, and maybe you get your chance to insert the black king either d6 or f6. You might be having a chance to maybe even win, but it's got to start with a3 to a2. Sugar, I was correct. Sugar. Now I have to push. Boom. Yes, sir. So they haven't captured. That gives me hope, but it ain't over just yet. Black is one step away from promoting. This is absolutely true, but now we are in check. And blimey, you gotta go this way. Sorry, I wanted to say you do not go this d6 because you're gonna be checkmated. So the only way to go is actually f6, and that's that. Okay. Happy I was able to actually find the correct way forwards. And you got to take it by elimination. That's that. So this guy can't really be stopped. And if white wants to stop the pawn, they will have to give away the white rook. Like playing like this, you're going to go up, rook takes and stuff. And okay. Okay, that is actually cool. Brilliant. Did the boys start to play? In 3 minutes. Oh, in 3 minutes, no? Okay. What fixtures have we gotten here? Oh man, can you imagine this guy needs like tons of coffees or is playing Blitz for the next hours? Gee, man, I hope they slept last night. I hope Magnus Carlsen slept last night. You know? Because if you didn't sleep, then you start playing for a couple of hours Blitz with the strongest chess players on the planet. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Am I repeating myself? Of course, always. Maybe I'm a machine. But if I am a machine, I'm an autonomous machine, I think. I mean, no one takes the decision but myself, right? So I must be autonomous. At least I hope so. So rook d3. What is black supposed to do here, you say? Oh, dude, got a sick idea. You know what that is? This is something like, what is the move you actually totally you don't want to play? I mean, not you don't want to play, you do want to play this, like rook takes. So when you take the white rook, you're forcing king to take you back. Right. Well, okay, then rook takes a3. Checks the king and attacks the white rook. Now, if the rook takes you, well, check. Thank you very much. I just got myself a queen. So this one seems to be the correct way forwards. Rook takes the black rook takes on to d3. King takes on d3. Rook takes a3. Checking the king, poking the rook at the same time. Forces white to take. Then we're going to get ourselves a queen. Boom. Correcto. Rook a3. Boom. Well, you know something? I'm happy to take, and these guys will be captured. Of course, rook takes, and now we're kind of good at this. Kind of good at this. These guys will not be able to make it past our pawn and past our rook. Black is winning. Big time winning. There's no point to continue the exercise because I think it's obvious. I think it is absolutely obvious. Okie dokie, where were we? GCT. Oh, Grand Chess Tour, Super United. Why is it Super United? Why isn't it just United? They want to be Super United. You know, people play with the words nowadays. Super United, lads. It's not United. United is, yeah, but it's not enough United. It's got to be Super United. Why not making the next one Ultra Super Irreversibly United? If it's Super United, just put an Ultra and then add another, what is that? Adjective. Irreversibly United, right? SuperUnited. You know, in the titles for the commercial purposes, it's got to be always add something like new formula, new revolutionary formula when you're saying when you're selling your products, whatever. You got to put new revolutionary formula. It's never simple. You got to put super, ultra united. Okay, fine. You know, but the marketing, so be aware. But you probably are aware. You're aware of way much more. Say, they haven't started yet. They're supposed to start. No, 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 no. Let's round number 12. Let's go for that one, fella. Magnus plays Fabi. Yeah. Fabi gonna have a difficult one. Guki plays Krzysztof. And Guki not doing well in Blitz. You're not doing well in Blitz. They started. Boom. Okay, let's watch this. Okay, let's watch this one. Hey, let me cover the stuff here. We don't want to see the engine. Castle short, everybody. Cool. Nice c3, bishop g5. Okay, c3 pawn. Fine. c3 pawn means there is going to be no activity about the b4, d4 squares. That ain't going to happen. a4, a5. I think I have a deja vu. I've seen this one many times. G5 is exploitable, G4 is exploitable for both them players. H6 had been played by Guki to actually prevent any bishop G5 pin. So, there's no more pin. I don't think he undo that. Oh, I was about to say I don't think he's gonna play H3, but he did play for the same reason, stopping any knight or bishop, because it looks to me like it's weakening a little bit the king side. Weakening. Bishop D7 by Guki. Knight A3, okay, you can go via this, and then support the E4, but you need to get the rook on E1 first to protect the pawn from the knight, and then you're going to play, as I said, knight C2. So you got to play this guy first, rook F1, and then you're going to push the pawn up. From White's point of view. I think it's very equal. I could say that it is very, very balanced, very equal here. Knight A7. Rook F1. Be very normal. Do you think bishop E3 or it's a bit too much? No, I think it's actually a cool move because you want to neutralize actually the bishop on C5. You totally want to neutralize. This is just too active. It's too active. You can't have the bishop on C5. So bishop E3 screams to be played, looks to me, unless he's coming with another idea. But this one I think is very, very legit. Bishop E3. Because in chess, okay, he played knight H4. Oh, okay. Play knight H4. Fine. I don't think Gook is crazy enough to play G5. You don't do this. You're weakening the king side like crazy. He tries to introduce a little bit of imbalances. So bishop B6 just to say he moved something. He didn't budge nothing on a king side. King to H2 now. Does he want to play F4? Is he nuts? In a good way, that is. D5. D5. Well, you don't want to take because you're going to activating the black knights like crazy. So you don't want to take that. But if you don't take, the heck do you play? Do you play F4? Come on, this is just getting completely out of hand. He didn't even place nothing with his bishop. He was supposed to play that bishop E3 at some point. Can you play it now? Can you play bishop E3 now? Bishop E3. No, he played knight E3. Okay. I guess if he pushes this, it's going to be knight C4. Makes a lot of sense to me. So probably Guki is not going to push the pawn to D4. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know. Is he going to play bishop? No, he did play the bishop, but not on C6. I thought he wanted to play on C6. He went on E6. Okay, fine. Fine. Queen to E2. a step closer to connecting the two white rooks. C6. Nice pawn chain right there. Bishop also, the bishop on b6 can be easily maneuvered to c7, b6, whatever the necessity dictates. Bishop c7, then bishop b6 back and this and that. It could be bishop d2. But let's see. White's turn. Personally, I'm looking at developing the pieces. So the situation now is getting really sharp. Really sharp. Do you think some knight here would be maybe a bit too early? Knight f5, knight f5, knight f5, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. I don't know. Maybe not just now. f4, which I did say a couple of moves before. f4, you want to open up and you want to invite the rook to the party and stuff. Now it starts looking really, really interesting. And I guess we're going to see a rook very, very soon. But also there is this. f4 to f5 attacking the bishop. Where's the bishop going to go? Yes, they could go b3, but then you further attack. Where they going to go? So it's getting interesting. Do we take? It's gee, man. Do you take? It looks like an incredibly attractive idea. Because black's going to have to take, right? Yeah. Then the king goes on h7 and going to stay nice in behind that pawn's protection formation there. That looks okay. But then again, if you don't take the knight, what do? They actually attack your knight. Do you play crazy stuff? Bang, bishop takes. Yeah, but this is where the rook is with the queen. Fellas, I'm not sure. I think he should take, probably. Probably he should take. It's very many things happening. There is so many things happening. I will not be able to cover neither me nor any other live commentators unless they be using softwares and they got everything spoon-fed. There's a lot of stuff happening here. In this very position, in between yeah, so he took, which I did say I would play immediately. 6. Black's going to take back. The white queen is on the same file with the black rook, so you better move that queen away whilst you can, because things are going to go wild very soon. Queen has to go. But where? Queen f3. Do you push the pawn? Do you play queen f3? Let me just do bishop f3 he did. Does he want to focus on this? Difficult to say. Also, I noticed, guys, that the bishop on c1 hadn't been developed just yet. It hadn't been developed. So you play bishop d2 and some rooks. Makes sense from very sharp. White is enjoying those e and fy pawns connected. Something. That is definitely something. Rook g. Okay. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Nice and cool. Black's turn to play. What can Gookie play here? The f4 is something. Oh my lord, he pushed the g5. Gee, this is gonna get a massive mess. Why he pushed the g? Of course you take, right? Well, he just did. He just took. Okay. White's gonna take again. Raping open the G file. Of course, he took. Now, do you play bishop d2 or do you do something else? If it's something else, like what? You could play potentially knight to g4 because you're opening up the bishop to go g5 for stuff. So you can connect actually the two white rooks because you need to connect the two white rooks. So I really wonder. Queen g2 he opted for. This way. And also, importantly, guys, moving the queen away from the e file where the rook is. So this is also another important element here for us to keep in mind. Don't leave your queen on the same file with the opponent's rooks, because things are going to clearing out and your queen is going to be attacked, targeted by the rooks. Oh, okay. So Eugene has to be careful with that axe, or careful with that axe, Eugene. For those of you that are great Pink Floyd fans, you guys remember the Pink Floyd at Pompeii? Careful with that axe, Eugene. What do you take back with? Bishop or queen? Because you have to take back with something. No, it's in. Okay, so pawn takes. Oh, yeah. If this is comfortable, I don't know what to say. There is another problem. Is this the blitz that Gookie is going to start winning? It doesn't look okay for the White King. Doesn't look okay for the White King. And there is also another problem here for Jan Duda. The time. The time. Queen taking away the G1 retreating, preparing rook to H8. And that is the end of it. I don't even know if you can save anything, but the rook now blocks the queen. So after rook H8, you probably want to play this, but oh Lord, I think white is seriously cooked. You're done. He resigns here. He resigns. You can't do from this moment onwards. Why? Well, king can't move because it's check from the bishop. And you've got nothing to block him with. Because, I mean, what's the point of it? You're losing the queen. Goodbye. Oh man, what a game. A game. Magnus still disputing with his old bud Fabi Caruana. Let's see Prague and Anish here. Let's see Prague and Anish. Prague is white, Anish black. Boy, oh boy. You could take en passant. But then rook's going to take first. You're going to take back. And then bishop's going to take g7 if you take en passant. So if black takes en passant, you're going to be a problem for Anish. So couldn't have taken en passant. One goes forwards though. Happy to opening up the e file leading to the black queen. I think you could push one more time. Asking for a friend, I think you could push one more time. Because that's where the rook is, that's where the knight is. You're happy to take off whatever. Well, that's for him to decide, for Prague. But I trust Prague's ability to playing super accurate. The guy is a monster in terms of chess capability. He's scary as hell. So knight e4 wanted to play f6 and all. So bishop g7 to stop now, knight f6 forking and stuff. You can still do this stuff. No, he went knight to c5. Can you believe that? Rook takes. Well, defended by the knight and all. You could go knight c5 now. Looks okay to me. Absolutely looks okay to me. They're moving so fast. I don't even have time to figure out the heck did just happen last time. Lest to actually process all the consequences of their choices. Queen to d8. Bishop now attacks the rook and whatnot. Rook has to go, but where? b7 is hanging all day. Gee, what? Rook takes, man. And then you're going to attack the bishop with the king. Took with the queen, though. Okay. I don't think that's bad either. White is winning. Prague is winning. Just move. Just move. King to g2, right? King to h2, right? They're moving very fast. This is bullet already, guys. It started as blitz, but it always ends up as bullet. And also, I'm seeing Magnus Fabi. Let's look Magnus Fabi. Knight to g2. This one gonna be a draw. Magnus excels at endings and fast format here. Yeah, gonna be a draw. This one gonna be a draw with Magnus, and but the Prague Anish not gonna be a draw. This one gonna end up in a draw, but not this one. No, sir, not this one here. This ain't gonna be a. Prague is gonna win. I think Prague has the highest chances to actually become world chess champion. Exactly as I said, Magnus drew versus Fabi. Prague is actually, I think, I'm making a prediction. I think he He's gonna be the next World Chess Champion. What is it? 6th of July 2025. Well, everybody probably thinks about that one. I guess the guy is gonna be the next World Chess Champion, Ragnananda. So knight takes now. This guy's hanging. The pawn on g4, I mean, when I said this guy's hanging. This guy is a pass pawn, which probably goes. Let's see for how long, though. Okay. They're moving bullet at this stage. Bishop maintaining the protection for the b6 pass pawn. They're attacking twice here. Bishop plays. Did he mess up something? Of course he did. He messed up something somewhere. He messed up something somewhere here. Anish is on fire. Bishop f2. He messed up something somewhere. Just a check. King moves. Can you do back rank? He did do back rank though. Blocks, let me think. Can you play? Oh my lord. If you're being attracted by this idea, which sort of makes sense, there is an issue with the knight and the queen attacking g3. So you can't really play bishop to c5. You can't. I wonder if you could push the pawn or something. No. This is when he lost that guy. When I said actually he's supposed to win, I mean, look at the eval gauge. Of course white is bloody winning. With 8 seconds on the clock, even a monster of a player, because these humans after all, right? Unfortunately, they are humans. Bishop e1 is not the strongest one. I just wonder if this move would be any better. Or it's just losing on a spot. I don't see the eval gauge doing nothing. Let me put the eval gauge just for a sec here. Hey, what the heck? Sugar. I don't know what's going on. I wonder. Well, this move, bishop e1, of course, it didn't work. He played it, and he ended up very badly. Well, it's not losing immediately, but now he lost all the freaking advantage all of a sudden with the queen dropping to d2. That's a very defensive point of view. Why did he do that, though? I still think we should just go for this kind of ideas with the pawn going forward to e6. I think he got a little bit entangled in its own fantasies, and then he ended up in a losing position after all. Queen retreats. Now he starts playing defensively. He starts to play defensively. And now it's equal, and then Anish just executed him. He got a bishop pair as well. Look, blunder played by Anish because it's actually bullet. Queen to d7. What is the winning sequence here, fellas? I think it's this. Bishop to c5, right? The queen protects against any checkmate. I mean, you play bishop c5, just trade off stuff, right? Okay. Now you got an issue with this, you got an issue with that. All right, fellas. Very, very, very exciting. Guys, keep in mind, this is going to last for a couple of very good hours here. So I'm gonna pause it for the time being. I'm gonna be coming back later on today. So they're gonna be starting in 10 minutes and 41 hours, 2 hours and so 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay. Don't forget, please, to follow, like, subscribe my channel, whatever the platform you're watching this from. And I'm gonna be seeing you later on. Take care, guys.